One of my great passions is to read the Akashic records for my clients. I really love that. So typically what I do is I'll meditate for 20 to 30 minutes before I meet with the client. And I meditate using certain mudras and chanting, opening the four corners above and below. And then I'm able to go into a state of connection with spirit, with the Akashic keepers, if you will, but spirit as well, and my guides and so forth. And typically the first thing that is shown to me, typically, but that's not always typically how it goes, I get spirit animals, and they are always symbolic and meaningful. In one particular client's reading, unicorns kept coming up as a spirit animal for her, which was kind of weird because it felt to me like so unicorn and rainbows type, and she is such a Kali, powerful Amazonian energy that I was almost hesitant. And I went ahead and revealed to her that she was a unicorn keeper, like a caretaker, a protector. And there's more to that, but if you want to hear about it, let me know if you want a part 2. But moving on. And so I told her about it, and she said, "You won't believe this, but one of the reasons why I bought my house is I saw a sticker of a unicorn. That for me was my sign to buy the house, that it was the right house." So that blew me away. So my guides always give me some kind of confirmation to share with the client that what I'm downloading is correct. In other words, it's pure downloads from the Akashic Keepers, that it's real. I had another client where one of the medicine animals was a black dire wolf with gold eyes, and that was his medicine animal, if you will. And the first incarnation that they showed me was him as a hermit in the 16th century, Black Forest, Germany. Very specific. I don't always get it that specific, but that was totally specific. Black Forest, Germany. So anyway, I see a man who's a hermit. He's very happy. They don't mess with him outside the villages. The villagers leave him alone for the most part. He's an herbalist, and he's alone in a hut. And he comes across a she-wolf that is injured. And so he brings her back. He's hurt her pups, so he brings them all back into his hut, and he administers healing stuff to her and makes sure that her pups have everything they need. And of course they grow up and they become his pack. In other words, he's part of their pack, and he sees generations of wolves being born. And as he grows older and older, they bring him meat and they're his family. And he told me, you're not gonna believe this, but I've always wanted to own a wolf. I've always felt connected to wolves. So again, confirmation. Another client, one of the ways they fell is they were, fell from 6, 7D consciousness to 3D. This particular client was an Anunnaki and was working on creating a human race, right? And she saw the humanoid race that she was creating on planet Earth as below. She saw them as non-humans, non-souls, like empty shells to be used as slave labor on planet Earth. And because she saw them in that way, one of the ways she fell wasn't just because she created, she was like being like God, right? And she was working with a team of other people. It was like a mass project. She ended up coming back as the very thing she disrespected. And because she was working on creating humanoids for the purpose of to use them as slave labor on planet Earth, she ended up falling. When she passed, when she dropped her body, she ended up incarnating into the very creation of now being a female, enslaved for the pleasure of others. And that is how she fell. There was other wonderful past lives that she had, but that was when she fell. Another incarnation, one client, actually, I saw them running, and they were in Atlantis, and they saw the wave coming at them, and that's how they fell. And fear just riddled through their body. another client, it was a very similar, because usually I get a download and I'll go, no, that can't be Atlantis, and boom, it was Japan. And she was a young Japanese woman wearing, I don't know if you know, with these kind of high clogged, wooden shoes, trying to run in them, and the wave just overtook her. And the next scene I saw, she was a man, and she was trying to help in the Great Fire of London, and she ran in to save people. I think they were relatives of hers, but again, as a man. And I saw him in that incarnation looking up and realizing that the whole top floor was just fire, that it was too late, and the whole floor fell on him. It was a wall of fire falling on him. And she told me that she was terrified of water and terrified of fires. So that confirmed it. So the purpose of doing Akashic readings is to understand trauma, fear, and why a client fell. What was the first time they fell from consciousness? I mean, 5, 6, 7D, you're on a different conscious plane. But when you fall to 3D, amnesia sets in. And the amnesia that many of us have suffered through these incarnations for thousands upon thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, in some cases. Once we understand what it's all about, there's a very subtle release that over time expands into true healing and self-forgiveness and forgiveness of those situations, and the claiming back of powers lost from traumatic past lives. Anyway, if you want an Akashic reading, go to my website at www.tonybarca.com and fill out the intake form, and we'll have a 5-10 minute chat to see what your intentions are, and we can go from there. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.